Shalom family, shalom, shalom. It's your brother Yahweh coming at you another video. Just want to give all praise, honor, glory to the Most High Power of Israel, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, 12 tribes scattered. Double honor to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep, the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness and sincerity. Again, I'm going to say shalom. I'm going to give a little short breakdown on Slakia, Thanksgiving. So, coming out of this book right here, it's good to have in your arsenal. All right. Lost Tribes and Promised Land by Ronald Sanders. And I'm also going to come out of American Holocaust. Be a short rundown on Thanksgiving. No thanks. Okay. Don't give sacrifice to any of that nonsense that they've been serving. Because it's just a mockery of God. Okay. I believe that's roughly paraphrasing Genesis 49. Gad, a troop overtaken, but in the end, he Slakia. Gad had the victory at the end. I'm not saying that correct, but it's mockery. Okay, family, America is a barrier ground for many Gadites and Negroes as well. The whole damn thing is mockery. This whole they should change Black Friday to Sales Day, okay? Because how you gonna call it Black Friday? And history shows that these white Europeans, these so-called white people, Europeans, they were selling Negro families worldwide. They were selling Israelite families worldwide, okay? So it's mockery, and it's very ridiculous that they continue to mock, a people, because the majority of Israel, they don't really know who they are. And it's just, when you reflect on the whole Kyrie, Kanye, and all the entertainers has been saying we Israel, and when you check out the heritage in front of you, they don't fit those people. But then when you come out and say it's truth, they screaming anti-Semitism, but somebody's lying. So I got some of my history books back there. Slave ships. I believe that's the last slave ship. And there's another one. It reads the slave ships, human history, right? And these so-called peoples that was set up post-World War II, they can't tell us Hitler was shipping them on cargo slave ships. That's not in their history. Okay, but that's chiefly in the history of so-called natives, of course, Negroes in America chiefly, but all the children of diaspora, okay? But that's why this Slakia, this famine, this plague, okay, the pestilence, America's collapsing, man. The breakup of NATO by way of your BRICS coalition, the Most High is getting back at this wicked kingdom as he did ancient Egypt. It's begun, and there's no coming back. From your C-19 to your aftermath, it's breaking down, and all praise to the Most High, But let's get into it. We're gonna read The Lost Tribes and Promised Land, okay, The Origins of American Racism by Ronald Sanders, and I'm gonna read a paragraph at the end of page 77. It reads, "Enter Columbus." We're talking about Christopher killing Columbus, okay? It says a striking element in Columbus' geographical religiousity is the intense and abiding intense in the fourth or second book of Esdras. The two apocryphal books of Esdras purport to be additional writings by and about the Old Testament Ezra, okay, as dealing with the scriptures. But the second and fourth book is a piece of full-fledged Hellenistic apocalyptic writings that was often regarded written with suspicion by the church and just as soft embraced by heterodox. Augustine had given guarded approval to Ezra's prophetic claims, and much was always to be made of this by the latter defenders, including Columbus. Talking about Christopher killing Columbus, okay? In the marginal note, Columbus copies of a Dilly, okay, is a relative lengthy disclosure of 2nd Esdras 6:42, which reads, let's just go to the next page, page 78. It says, upon the 3rd day did his command the waters should be gathered up in the 7th part of the earth. 6 parts thou hast dried up and kept them to the intent of these, some being planted of God until it might serve thee. Okay. It says 2nd Ezra 6:42. Let's get that. Let's get 2nd Ezra 6:42. Let's read that. One moment, family. But it's good to have this history and have your books that link up with this truth. You know, it's a good way to grow, coming into the knowledge of the truth and giving exhortation and sharing it with others, right? Let me see what this says. Dylan, got my digital sword here. 2nd Ezra 6:42. Let's see what the scriptures say. It says, upon the 3rd day thou didst command the waters should be gathered in the 7th part of the earth. 6 part hast thou dried up and kept them to the intent of these, some might being planted of God until it might serve thee. Okay, I just want to make certain it was aligned with the actual scriptures. It was. So we're going to carry on. Okay. Second paragraph, page 78. This was often to be cited by Columbus, who argued that since only 1/7 of the world was water, a good deal more dry land than yet was known remained to be discovered overseas. Okay? But Columbus seems to have found more in Esdras than just the geographical argument. Here is one of the things he writes about this verse in his marginal notes. It says, but this prophecy is not accepted by the reprobate Jews, yet it has been accepted by the innumerable ones among them who have believed in the gospel. Israel has thus been split in 2 branches. That's dealing with Judah and Israel. That's your northern and southern. That's your northern kingdom and southern kingdom. Okay, that's what that's going into. All right. A division predicted as inevitable by the prophet Samuel to King Saul. The reprobate Jews themselves hold Esdras, that is Old Testament Ezra, as canonically authority. Okay. Let me see if I get a precept with the split. Because there was a split, roughly paraphrasing, there was a split in Israel. Okay. Israel was divided. Okay. But that also goes into that curse, because you know Israel. What happened with the Israelites? They decided not to keep the commandments. Okay, that's Deuteronomy 28:15-68. And Moses had told them many years in advance that, you know, we will be captives to the other nations for not keeping the commandments. Okay, Moses kind of went through it in the wilderness. Okay, dealing with the rebellion of our people. Over that's almost 4,000 years ago. But what happened many years later, okay, when the Negroes ruled this world during your Dark Age, okay, during your Byzantine Empire, we were still running this earth, but we wasn't keeping the commandments. And eventually, okay, you had a European Renaissance. Okay, and these white supremacists, y'all can't get around this history. They took over, they whitewashed, they sold the Israelites to the four corners of the earth. Okay, they whitewashed the images. They destroyed the majority of the churches that were set up during the Dark Ages. But when you go to places like Russia, Moscow, and other places in that region, some of those churches remain. That's where you get your Russian icons. Okay? Only here in America, they give you this damn Caesar Borgias. They give you whitewashing of everything. Okay? That's true history. Okay, that actually happened. Let me see if I can get this preset. Let me see if I get a quick preset on the split of the kingdoms, okay? I'm coming, family. Give me a minute. Yeah, the split goes into Israel and Judah. I didn't get the right precept. Let me see if I can try to get a verse. Just got out that damn plantation, man, but just want to edify on this Thanksgiving and, continue to give exhortation and, warn out people. And I'm talking, when I do these videos, I'm only reaching out to those that's inquiring truth and really trying to get salvation, okay? Your remnant body, your 144. Because once the remnant body and 144,000 is sealed, hey, we're out of here, man. Greater destruction is just going to take Babylon the Great, and that'll be the end of this place, man. God willing, okay, your seals, your trumpets, and Most High will, this, the judgments leading into this, the seventh trumpet, that final trumpet where our Lord and Savior, Hamashiach Yahushai, deliver the chosen and take us out of this God-forsaken land. Because when you go into Thanksgiving, or so-called Thanksgiving, I call it Thanksgiving because they celebrating the destruction of Israelites. And we see the condition of Gad, right? We see how they do that. They're in these, it's not huts, I forget what you call them. They're like Indian, Salaki, for not saying it right, but they live in these poor ghettos, man. I mean, these ghettos are worse than, I'm from the South, coming out the Calio, Florida Desire, okay? Not those type of projects. Their projects are even worse, okay? They took over the land and destroyed the people. Yeah, they put smallpox on the blankets, and Gad's still destroyed today. Now they took, you go into sports, they removed the Indian faces because that was pure mockery. But they continue to mock them with celebrating Thanksgiving and Black Friday. And that's a mock on all Israelites. That's why it's laughable. I'm always bringing this out. It's laughable post-Kyrie, post-Kanye, for them to scream anti-Semitism, but they're mocking us one year after the next, okay? 7 days a week, okay? Every 12 months, January through December, mockery of the true people of the Most High. That's why they're being judged. That's why the plague is sent, and that's why time is thinning here in Babylon the Great, so-called America, because it's doomed. Okay, just like my channel, Babylon Doom. This place is finished now. Okay. let's read the book of, we're going to read 2nd Ezra 13 and 40. Let's get that. Okay. Still trying to get those other precepts. I left my swords in my bag. Slack your family. Let's get 2nd Ezra's 13:40. Let's see. One moment. That's 2nd Ezra's 13. Let's get that. Yeah, but just stay up. Stay up on this world news, okay? Again, with this whole BRICS correlation, something the American media won't even bring that out. They can give you all the BS with their nonsense, Democrat versus Republicans. No one give a shit about that, man. It's time for our people to come out of that nonsense and come home, okay? Not gonna hang, it's a general disclaimer. I'm not hanging no American flag on this platform. Ain't nothing but a Roman flag from your modern American flag, your old school Civil War American flag, your KKK Union, and your KKK Confederate flag, and your KKK United States flag. That's not for people of color. The Democrats, Republican, that's Dukes of Edom against Dukes of Edom. And our people need to come out of that silliness. Okay? 2nd Ezra 13 and verse 40. Okay? It's not the precept I truly wanted, but I'll edify with this for now. It says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, who Salmanazar, the king of Assyria, led away captives, and he carried them over the waters. And so they came into another land, but they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country, where never mankind dwelt, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. Okay, and they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. 2nd Ezra 13:44. Okay, for the Most High then showed signs for them, and he held still the flood till they were passed over. Okay, verse 45. For though that country there was a great way to go, namely a year and a half, and the same region is called Osiris. That's just another name for so-called America and the land of the North. That's where your so-called Gadites, okay, that's where they begin to set up, right? And let's let me see, before I go back into lost tribes and get into American Holocaust, and then wind down, pull some more scriptures and just go into the fall of America, which is happening right before us, because it's just this country's not really, since the lockdown and post-lockdown, has it been normal? This place is coming down. You got a crisis in California where you got them suits trying to get rid of diesel fuel for the whole state. So imagine those people that was, trying to enjoy that life, and they trying to go completely electric. And then we don't know if they're going to use actual drivers, because these wicked elites, the wicked in these last days, it's worse than the time of Noah, man. But they don't care. The Most High, roughly paraphrasing, he's going to continue to shorten the days, man. Okay? He's going to continue to shorten these days, because time is really thinning. Okay? Expect mass judgment from here on out, man. I was leaving that plantation, was mad. There was a nasty car accident. It's just, the Most High, he dropping the hammer on America, man. more, how you say, natural disasters, all types of conditions breaking out through all these cities. There was a shooting, okay? There was a shooting reported at one university. People, students were killed, right? It's just an onslaught of judgment, okay? You had the aftermath of that shooting in the Colorado nightclub. Well, unfortunately, our people jammed up in that. You know, some were judged. They didn't really put up all the pictures, right? But it's just going to continue to be it's just going to be more and more judgment until we're out of here, man. Slacking. Let me get back to this. I'm still trying to get those precepts. My apologies, family. All right. Lost Tribes and Promised Land, page 70. Page 78. We're going to jump down to the last paragraph. It reads, along with this racial Christianity is an idea of revolution that places the myth of the mystical Esdras right at the center. For the note is saying that the acceptance of the apocryphal Esdras as valid prophecy is what distinguishes the new Christians from the reprobate Jews who reject him even though they regard the Old Testament Ezra, the same person in Columbus' eyes, as canonical authority. In other words, to repudiate the vision of the apocryphal Esdras is as to the Jehovah, the prophets, okay? And presumably the result will be the same. The radical Jews of Spain, the note seems to imply, are to be the lost tribes of the modern times, okay? One wonders whether this note was written before or after the expulsion of the Jews in 1492, okay? That's just some history, right? So this is just some history coming out of Lost Tribes and the Promised Land. It's a good book. It goes into the history in 1492. It also deals with Hernan Cortez. I didn't put the tabs on that page, but it goes into when Cortez, you know, start forcing, you know, that Spanish on the indigenous people, because in the Vatican they teach their main tongue is Latin, okay? Latin is not Israel, that's not Hebrew. Okay, that's not the original tongue. The original tongue is the ancient Paleo. They were stripped of that, right? By these racist white supremacists. Okay. Let me see. I might have found a little something on Cortez. Give me a minute. We're reading page, let me see. I'm at page 153. Trying to get a quick note on this Hernan Cortez guy. Because these so-called white supremacists, when you go into it, they conquered the world, right? And to this day, you know, some of the brothers bringing out, when you go into Hebrews and Negroes, which is a good buy, I do recommend a few books. I didn't really do the movie, but it's that author, I believe Ronald Dalton Jr., Lee Cummings, and it's another author, some historians. I think even the guy that did what's that thing? Slakia, from Babylon to Timbuktu. These guys teach that Japhet would rule the world at the end. A lot of them, I believe in their books, they have it where these Khazarians are Japhetic. And, you know, that's not true. So when you go into the end time, it tells you in Second Esdras 6 and 9, it says Esau is the end, not Japhet. But a lot of some of these Slack, these scholars, they just deal with the biblical geographic locations, and I don't know if that's intent. Okay, they just base it on the geographical maps. You know, when you go into these, like, if you was to open the back of your scriptures, there's always the map, and they base it off those geographical locations. But you still have to be sound with scriptures, because there's no precepts. There's no book, chapter, verse with precepts that says Japhet will be ruling the world in the last days. So-called white people rule the world, okay? But I'm not going to hold that against them, you know. The elders, you know, you're learning from the elders. You get what's good, you know. If you disagree, okay, you don't have to go crazy or do a why I left this camp video because I didn't like what the elder was teaching. No, you get what you can get, and, you know, you do your best. You know, you feel you want to move on. Like myself, I do camp in Spring Valley. I set up a camp. You know, after a while, you just want to bid and, you know, pray the Most High help you do your best to set up an Israelite community school. You know, things of that nature. But you get what's good from your teachers, and if you want to move on, you know, that's just an option. But moving on. Slakia, family. Give me a minute, family. Speed this up a bit. Gonna get page Slacky. I'm coming, y'all. I'm coming. There's a page that I want to pull. So there's an account in here where they forced the people into their religion. Because when you go into like the slavery of Northern Kingdom, it was the same thing the Southern Kingdom went through. They killed those that rebelled against their uprising, and, you know, others, you know, gave in, but they end up worshiping Caesar. Okay? And that happened to the Gadites. They did the same thing to them. They made them worship. I mean, let's keep it honest, man. They made them worship Satan, man. Okay? And America is the house of that, man. Straight devil worship, right? You're not gonna find these feast days. You're not gonna find Thanksgiving and Halloween in the Torah, man. You're not gonna find Easter. You're not gonna find Easter in the Torah, okay? I'm gonna read this notable page. This is the Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, page 57. It says the Gina trade. I probably said that wrong. It says the Negroes possess some admirable qualities. They are seldom unjust and have a greater abhorrence of injustice than any other people. There is a complete security in their country. Neither traveler nor inhabitant in it has anything to fear from robbers or men of violence. They do not confiscate the property of any white man who dies in their country, even if it be untold wealth. On the contrary, they give it into the charge of some trustworthy person among the whites until the rightful heretakers possess of it. Like I said, you could go into that curse on us, man. You can't really get around this. And this is from Ronald Sanders. This is this is just an author, a historian, right? You go into this is a slave, a trade. You know, I have to ask so-called white people, especially these Jewish white people, when did that happen to y'all in World War II? Okay, I'll give them, right? I'll give them the 6 million during that time fighting off, doing that, right? But we talking, when you go into the depths of the Israelites going into the slave trade, we're talking over 1 billion Hebrews killed, man. From the passages to the white supremacists beating them to death, okay? And contrary to pop belief, that even goes into today. Your Planned Parenthoods, okay, the killings that go on by law enforcement, like the image, it's a lot of accounts. The lynches. Y'all remember during the lockdown, they were lynching Jake wholesale, man. Then their racist media said that we were tying a noose, knowing damn well Jake don't know how to tie no noose. So we still going through it. Thank God for the famine, the plague, and the pestilence, because they're gonna be showed up like the Egyptians were, right? And thank God for that. Get a few more accounts and go into the next book. A page, Salakia family. This morning's trade, page 64, it says, these Negroes, men and women, crowded to see me, as do I were a marvel. It seemed to be a new experience to them to see Christians whom they had not previously seen. They marveled no less at my clothing than at my white skin. Some touched my hands and limbs and rubbed me with their spittle to discover whether my whiteness was dye or flesh. Finding that it was flesh, they were astounded. And this is just Jake under that curse, man. This is a good read. I suggest you newcomers in the truth, add this to your arsenal. Let me see if there's any more. We're going to carry on with the 10 tribes and what really happened, going back to this Thanksgiving, right? All right, let's try, let's go into the next book. We're gonna go into this one again. Okay. And this is a gem. This is a good history book right here. All right. Let's go to page. I want to show y'all the native people. We're just gonna go over some images. We're gonna show you some history of Gad. Okay. Some imagery there. Show some more. And these are good history books dealing with, these so-called white people taking over God's people. All right. Check out these Gadites here. See that? Y'all see the features on the Gadites, right? Check that out there. Remove that. And it's simple science. Israel, through rebellion, we know Israel mixed in. They start, kind of like in Genesis 6, they start dealing with the other nations. But when you deal with other nations long enough, depending on your geographic estate, okay, certain features change. That's just what it is. It's not just a one-look only Israelite. You know, all that toxic BS in the community, okay? It makes no sense with those guys, but I'm gonna leave that alone. Right? But this is just going into Gad and the destruction, okay, of the northern kingdom into slavery, okay? Try to speed this up. One moment. Let's go into the genocide. This will be page 140, 148. This also deals heavy with Columbus, Christopher killing Columbus, okay? Read this one paragraph, not sure how the image says. During the course of 4 centuries, from 1490s to the 1890s, Europeans and white Americans engaged in unbroken strings of genocide campaigns. That's why when we on the corners, we teach they're the devil that the Bible speaks of. From the top. During the course of 4 centuries, from the 1490s to the 1890s, Europeans and white Americans engaged in unbroken string of genocide campaigns. You can't get around this, man. Actually, Hebrews 12 and 16, they're a bunch of monsters, man. Against the native peoples of the Americas, okay? Pictured on the following pages are the results of the first of these slaughters, the Spanish, okay, depredations of Slakia. The Spanish depredations in the West Indies, okay, in Mesoamerica under the initial commander Christopher Columbus. Christopher killing Columbus. And what conventionally thought incorrectly is regarded as the last of them. The United States Army massacre of Sioux Indians near a creek called Wounded Knee in South Dakota. Okay? These scenes are representative of thousands of other such incidents that occurred and in some places continue to occur, right? In the Indies in South, Central, and North America. That's why I started with Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, right? Most of them bloodbaths that have gone unnamed and are long forgotten. Ain't it sad for our people to bounce like a damn bunny rabbit with them in Sunday church teaching a white Caesar Borgias that's going to save them after his people, okay, slaughtered God's people. And like I said, by the billions, man. Y'all can have the 6 million argument, but we got historic counts to prove billions of us died at the hands of white supremacists. How do you say the devil's mafia? That's on edge now, right? The illustrations of the Spanish cruelties are by John Theodore and John Israel Debray from 1598 Slovakia edition of Bartolomé, de las Casas brief account of the destruction of the Indies. The accompanying captions are drawn from Los Sassa's descriptions of the events he witnessed, with two exceptions. The photographs from the Wounded Knee Massacre are printed here with the permission of the Nebraska State Historical Society. Okay, so this was true stuff. The exceptions are the photographs of Bigfoot from the National Anthropological Archives of Smithsonian Institution, and the photographs of General Colby and Zentka Looney, which is printed by courtesy of the Denver Public Library Western History Collection. Quotations and the captions from the Wounded Knee photographs are from Richard E. Jensen, R. Eli Paul, John E. Carter, eyewitnesses at Wounded Knee, Lincoln University of Nebraska Press, 1991. Check this out. How people, honestly, we could turn blue, purple in the face. Only the remnant 144 gonna get this. Check this out. See that? Y'all see this? Look at the image on the left-hand corner. They're taking the baby, about to dash it to the stones. See that? About to dash it against that tree or whatever the hell that is, right? But our people still want to love Mr. Whitey. Look at Mr. Whitey's history against indigenous people. See that? Psalms 137. I know I have to go there. Let's get Psalms 137, man. And they call us a hate group, but their history is hatred against us. The whole government is hatred against God's chosen. And, you know, when you reflect on Kyrie and Kanye, the uproar is that they're scared of the coming of Hamashiach Yahushua. They're devastated of that, and they know, okay, they know it's not like ancient Egypt where all the Israelites really start calling on the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's worse now because all it takes is a remnant gathering and America will be destroyed utterly, right? Let's get Psalms 137, man. Let's get it. Let's get that. And time is spending. That's why it's an urgent calling, you know, to come home to your true heritage before, you know, his family and the word kick in. They begin to block channels. They shut down Israelite pages as a whole. Okay, and it's going to be too late if you miss this call. It's a call into, how do you say, repentance, and, you know, serving the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This is the only exit left for people of color and those of the diaspora. There's nothing left. America's suddenly going to be destroyed. That's my favorite image at the left-hand slack at the right-hand corner with the ICBMs making impact, because that's what's going to hit America. That's what's going to hit America, and it's going to be a sudden hit. Scriptures, Most High say, Shalakia, in 1 hour. It's going to be forgotten, man. It ain't going to be here no more. Right? Psalms 137. Let me see. Let's get the classic. Psalms 137:7, and it reads, "Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof." That's what's going into the destruction of the temple, during 70 AD. The so-called white people, I believe they aligned themselves. I believe there's either Babylonians, the Persian Slack, if I'm incorrect. but they helped destroy the last temple, and Israel fled into what the world called Africa. They really fled into the Valley of Ham, but these white supremacists, they changed the wording. Okay, they pulled off crafty counsel on a high level, and sadly, only the remnant 144 is going to cleave, and the rest going to be burnt in nuclear fire, man. Right from the top. Psalms 137:7, it says, "Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem was said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed." And this is really going into when Yahushua take full authority over this world, okay? That's why they're scared of entertainers bringing out the truth, because they know this prophecy. Them Khazarians, that small class all the way at the top, they know of this prophecy. That's why they're scared shitless, slacking, of this remnant of our people waking up. Because once that's done, it's over. And like I said, that Space Force, the Most High, he gonna destroy all that, man. Okay? Psalms 137 and verse 8. "O daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones." Let me show y'all this image again. All right? Didn't he do it to our children? You see that? Left hand corner. And our people want to integrate with these people are not our friends. They are our enemies, man. And he dashed a little baby against that wall. That's what that's going into. Okay. See? Let's dig a little bit more before I wind it down. Look what they were doing to Gadites. I need to get a copy of this. This is a must-have when you come into the truth. Okay, they cut people's hands off. Okay, they were cutting the people's they were just slaughtering Gad, man. Right? See? And this is what they celebrate every November 24th. It's witchcraft, man. It's devil worship. Okay? Check this out, man. They were killing the Indians wholesale, the so-called Gadites, and, look at the right-hand image, how they were burning them, right? Now, when you check out the slave ships, okay, your good ship, Jesus, right? They were bringing in the Negroes to America. What did they do to rebellious Negroes that fought them? They burnt them just like they were burning Gad, man. Right? Now, the people overseas set up in that land, they were transported by trains. This history don't link up with them. That's why they're looking more and more confounded every day. That's why, for our people, you have to swiftly come to this knowledge of the truth and hold on to it. Okay? So a little more history. See if I can find that passage. One moment. This is what they told Gad. This is page 66. So I was looking for this in the Lost Tribes and Promised Land. Slock, it was the wrong book. This is American Holocaust, page 66. Check out this paragraph, man. It reads, "I certify to you that with the help of God, and it's not talking about the God of Israel, it's talking about Satan, right? I certify to you that with the help of God, we shall powerfully enter into your country. Y'all celebrate Thanksgiving. Check this out. We shall powerfully enter into your country and shall make war against you in all ways and manners that we can. And he shall subject you to the yoke and obedience of the church of their highestness. We shall take you and your wives and your children and shall make slaves of them, and as such shall sell and dispose of them as their highness may command. And we shall take your goods and shall do you all the mischief and damage that we can. As to the vassals who do not obey, Slakia, as to the vessels who do not obey and refuse to receive their Lord and resist and contradict him, contract him. I'm saying that wrong. Okay. But that passage, let me read that last few sentences. It says, and we shall take your goods and shall do you all the mischief and damage that we can. As to the vessels who do not obey and refuse to receive their Lord and resist, contract him. I'm saying it wrong, but it's really going into killing whoever rebelled. That's what that's going into. So when did Hitler do that to those people in World War II? We talking about two different Holocausts here. Two completely different Holocausts. Like I said, we could go into the billions killed by so-called Europeans versus Hitler killing 6 million. The true Holocaust was the destruction of Israel, man, going into the curse. And it breaks me to pieces how our people continue to ignore the knowledge just being poured out in these last days. There's darkness coming to this land. We got Israelites facing darkness in Ukraine. Check out those images with the people moving as pilgrims out there. And other places where war is going on right now. America about to get theirs before them ICBMs take this whole, this whole foundation away. When them missiles just blow this place away. Right? And I'm pulling history. And it's something for you Negroes in the world, especially you stiff-necked, hard-headed Negroes that love this country. It's a ticking Slakia. America is a ticking time bomb, man. And it's going to go off. The Most High going to have them seals and trumpets be made manifest in that last one. Okay? You best believe the missile's going to finish this place off. So y'all got to repent and get it together, man. Right? Let's see if there's any more. Wow, I'm going to read the next paragraph. I'm going to try to wind down, right? It says, in practice, the Spanish usually did not wait for the Indians to reply to their demands. First, the Indians were, I'm not pronouncing this right. It says, first the Indians were manacled. I'd imagine that means being sliced up. Then, as it were, they were read their rights. As one Spanish conquistador and historian described the routine, after they had been put in chains, some read the Recrum to Slakia. Without knowing their language and without any interpreters and without either the reader or the Indian understanding the language, they had no opportunity to reply, but immediately carried away prisoners to Slakia. Carried away prisoners to the Spanish, not falling to use the stick on those who did not go fast enough. Wow. So I guess it says first the Indians were manacled. I guess that's being chained up. Or worse. I'm doing my best, family. Right? We're going to read the third paragraph. It says the perverse way the invasion and destruction of what many, including Columbus, Christopher killing Columbus, right, had thought was a heaven on earth, Slakia. In the perverse way, the invasion and destruction of what many, including Columbus, had thought was a heaven on earth began. Okay, now that reading the recrumental was necessary to the inhuman violence the Spanish were to perpetrate against the native people they confronted, rather the proclamation was merely legalistic, rational for fanatically religious and fanatically judicial and fanatically brutal people to justify a holocaust. Check that out. These are two different holocausts, family. I'm bringing this history out is to show the true Slakia of Thanksgiving, aka Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is great mockery, and it's pagan at a high level, man. And it's chiefly the celebration of the death of God's chosen people. That's all it is. And our people don't consider. But this exhortation is only for the remnant in 144, with the hopes of new souls coming into it. That's of the diaspora. So we could get the hell out of this place, man. Right? Back to this third paragraph. After all, Columbus had seized and kidnapped Indian men, women, children throughout his first voyages, long before recrumental was in use. 5 at one stop, 6 at another, more at others, filling his ships with varied samples of Indian to display like exotic beasts in Seville and Barcelona upon his return. Wow. See, Spaniards, them bastards had a huge part in slavery. And it's the spirit, you got the image of the cargo slave ships, and that's how, just like how they did Slakia, the Negro tribes, the Southern Kingdom, Northern Kingdom, which really consists of Gad, your Latinos, okay? All the Israelites that dwell in Latin America, Mexico, things of that nature. All those families went through the same thing. But you get those agents of chaos out there working for vocab and the government. These stupid ass Negro owners, man, that love the so-called white man. That can't even understand the science of the Most High. They only see a person of color being Israel. That's it. Ignoring Revelation 7, Daniel's, I believe, 7, roughly paraphrasing, going to confusion of faces. And the Most High, you know, he goes into those that be into the speckled bird. Those, all them agents of chaos, those true agents of chaos, okay? Because they're not serving the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They're serving Satan, okay? And they all going to be destroyed in these last days. I'm going to jump down. Actually, well, I'm going to read through. Try to wind down. I don't want this video to be too long. On at least one occasion, Columbus sent a raiding party ashore to capture some women with their children to keep his growing excess of captured native males company, because he wrote in his journal his past experience in abducting African slaves had taught him, and I was bringing that out in Lost Tribes and Promised Land. All right. He wrote in his journal his past experience in abducting African slaves Hebrews, not Africans. You got to read the book of Exodus, 11 and 7, and I believe it's Exodus 4 and 5 or 5 and 4, somewhere around there. The Most High put a difference between the Egyptians, Israel and the Egyptians, and he put his hands into his bosom, into his garment, roughly paraphrasing. We're not Hamites, right? From the top, he wrote in his journal his past experience in abducting African slaves had taught him that the Indian men would behave better in Spain with women of their country than without them. On this date, let me go back to that. The Indian men would behave better in Spain with women of their country than without them. And that's that dynamic I noticed with Northern Kingdom. Even dealing with the islands, like Cuba, Dominican Republic, all the Northern Kingdoms stick together. I can't say that for these Negroes in America, man. They just everywhere. And I'm talking about Jake and Eve. So I think Jake and Eve here in America, slavery did severe damage to Israel in America. So it's we keep it real, family. It's painful to teach the truth and then deal with it in real time, man. From going to my little camp spot in Spring Valley, right, at the Spring Valley train station, my days with HOI, right, my days with House of David in Brooklyn, to see the loss. It's like you can see the souls on some of our people. You don't know if they're going to come. But we know 2nd Ezra 8, 1, 2, and 3 says a lot of us ain't going to make it, man. But, it's all of the Most High. This is his program. It don't make sense to get jammed up in nuclear fire, right? And, some teach a rebirth through the righteous sperm, but I'm not going there because all I can tell you is when you go through this heritage, if the wicked is condemned from front to back, I'm going to leave it there. Okay? I know what Revelation 20 and 15 say. I know what Daniel 12 and 2 say, and I'm going to leave it there. I know what Isaiah 66, I believe it's 24. Those are a lot of questions regarding that, but moving on. From the top, it says, on this date, he also recorded the vignette of the husband of one of these women and father of 3 children, a boy and 2 girls, who followed his captured family onto Columbus' ship, and said that if they had to go, he wished to come with them and begged me hard, and they all now remain consoled with him. Okay, this is dealing with Northern Kingdom being captives, but not for long, as harbinger of things to come. Only a half dozen or so of those many captured native slaves survived the journey to Spain, and of them only 2 were alive 6 months later. On his second voyage, Columbus tried to even more ambitious kidnapping and enslavement scheme. It is described by the Italian nobleman Michele di Cuno, who accompanied Columbus on this voyage. So, man, you guys gotta buy this book, man. I'm gonna show it one more time. This book has a lot of weight, man. You gotta get a copy of this. Okay? Right? But you gotta thank the Most High now that the famine is on this earth. Time is thinning, and the clock is winding on the wicked, but it's sad because it's winding even on the wicked of our own people that won't accept truth. And to the point, this exhortation, gathering with these pagan customs is not of the Most High. Let's get Amos 5 and 21. We know the little classic in Revelation 13 and 10. You know, he that lead into captivity shall go into captivity. Roughly paraphrasing. So what goes around, come around. All these racist white supremacists that's losing their mind over some entertainers that spoke truth, you know, of this coming prophecy. That's why they're scared. They don't want this judgment day, but it's ordained. So they're going to be judged for these wicked pagan holidays, and you know, for going overboard on God's people, because they overstepped their bounds. Like the other nations, we served under those other captivities, but when these so-called white people took hold of us, they went overboard. And because of that, they're going to have to pay. Amos 5 and verse, I believe it's 20 and 21. Let's get it. Let's see. It says, Amos 5 and 21 reads, I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. Okay, I'll read that again. I despise your feast days. I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. And that's really dealing with them wicked ass Sunday church facilities. The Spirit of the Lord not in that. Okay? It's 2 Corinthians 16, 17, and 18, I believe. The Most High said, come from among that bullshit. Slack you. Right? Revelation 18 chapter 2 and 4 chiefly, come from out of her, my people. Roughly paraphrasing. He's not talking to all people. He's calling back his chosen. Okay? The Most High is not dealing with Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve, Easter, all that bullshit that they promote, because you're not going to find that in the heritage before you. You're going to find new moons, right? You're going to find a new moon. You're going to find Feast of Dedication. You're going to find first fruits, right? You're going to find Passover, right? You're going to find trumpets, tabernacles. You're going to find holy feast days. You're not going to find these days, these pagan holidays where they just make monopoly of God's people and mock the people all in the same sentence, right? So, see if there's any more before I wind down. One moment, family. Let's get this precept. Amos 5 and 10. Because they hate us, man. They hate this truth. And this is why. This is one of the reasons why. Amos 5 and 10. They hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. Okay? They hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. And this country hate the truth. They're paying the price now. Did away with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and thought in their own wickedness, they will run this world in wickedness forever and ever without consequence. Well, the consequences are here now. Don't matter if Kyrie and Kanye apologize. It's too late. You know how many people, and you know how much people digging into this truth now, man? You know, salute to all the camps, congregations out there. Okay. Ronald Dalton. All these guys is putting out the truth. And we like I said earlier, some of these scholars error saying Japhet is the end of the world. That ain't true. But for the most part, because I have some of his work, for the most part, it's true, except those areas where they say Japhet would rule the world. That's not true. Aside from that, they still telling the people, the diaspora, who they truly are. You gotta take what's good. Okay, and what's not good, you know, you kind of leave that alone. That's how this truth works, by the way. And you pray and ask the Most High for wisdom and guidance once you come into this walk, because you need it. I like to keep the scriptures. You know, I like to share the history, go into other history books, but it's just good to keep the precepts best you can and not go into left doctrine, you know, doctrine that don't make sense. That's an unfortunate condition in Israel, but it is what it is. This is why Hamashiach Yahushua need to come and set everything right. Not a wicked ass leader in the community. General disclaimer. This is a bunch of them. You got righteous elders and apostles, but you got wicked ass niggas. This is what it is. But I thank the Most High for, you know, being taught, you know, by Priest Sabak, you know, his elders, the House of David, and others I follow on YouTube, you know, other leaders, you know, all praise to the Most High, you know. We just got to do our best. Let me see if there's any more before I wind down. Still with the wicked of our people. Let's get Amos 9. Let's get the old classic, man. Let's get Amos 9. Is it 10 and 8? Let me see. Let's get Amos 9 and 8. I'm going to end it here. I'm going to read down to 10. It says, Behold, the eyes of the Lord God are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in the sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. Verse 10. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. Okay, so the Most High is going to destroy the two parts club of Israel. Them wicked ass niggas that don't want to repent. You're gonna put y'all away, man. Forever tormented. Y'all gonna be destroyed with massa. Come from the ways of Babylon the Great. These pagan customs, the Most High not with that. Okay? For those of us in the know of this truth, keep the commandments. Okay? Keep your high holidays. Teach, give exhortation. Love one another. Okay? Teach one another in humbleness, sincerity, and pray the Most High have mercy on you on the day of his wrath and judgment. Chiefly going into that final exodus when them ICBMs begin to rock the foundation of this whole region. Okay? Because that time coming too. Soon enough. It'll be the Most High. Okay? And with that, we give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Power of Israel, Power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Double honor to the mighty men, the elders, and apostles of the community, waking up the lost sheep, house of Israel, these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness and sincerity. Israel, I love y'all. Shalom.